Hello,
Good morning and
good
welcome to
morning.
Which Day Goes Live. I'm here today with Pedro Plastic and we're going to be talking about experimental creative colour services, and today's session is supported by Pulp Riot. We're going to be talking about getting creative, attracting new clients and working with creative colour on every client. Plus we'll also be touching about how the early 90s trends are back and how it's bringing a host of fresh new trends and new clients into your chair. Hi, Pedro.
Hello, good
Hey,
morning, everyone. Good morning, Charlotte.
good morning. Good to see you.
Very good to see you too.
So,
You look
tell
good.
us a little bit about your role with Pulp Riot and what you do there.
Right. So, just a quick intro. My name is Pedro, aka Pedro Plastic. I'm an educator and artist for Pulp Riot UK. So, I've been with Pulp Riot since 2019. Been doing like a few projects like Science International, some online events like Powered or Pulp Fest. We're going to be joined on Color World now. I also be involved in Milan on an international shooting for Pulp Riot. So being created like the international shooting for the brand with other countries. So I travel all the way to Milan with Pulp Riot for that, and I've been involved on many classes and shows and everything fun. So yeah,
And what
that's
are
very
we?
much a quick recap about my journey with Pulp Riot.
A whistle stop tour, right? What are
Yeah.
we doing today? What's your model called? Where's she from and what's she getting done?
Okay, I think she's from obviously London in the 90s at the beginning of Spice Girls, right?
Right.
So as we're going to talk a bit about the trends of 2022 and all the influence of the 90s. And I think it'll be amazing to show you exactly what's more trendy right now. So definitely the warm tones and a mani piece is very trendy right now. A color blend just came to stay. And I love to work with color blends and color contrasts. So we used some yellow, orange, and red. So we're going to do a bit of application in the meantime, and then I can explain you what shades did I use. So starting about the colors, the Pulp Riot semis. Every time we want to choose a color, we use this paper. We have paint by numbers. Cool. So the only reason that they use paper is to be more sustainable for the planet. And also it can give you like pretty much a notion of the color without compromising the final result, because every time you have a color chart, your client wants that exactly color, and that color never works exactly on every type of hair. Depends of the base, depends of many factors, right? So here we know, for example, our countess, how it works roughly on level 7, 8, 9, or 10. So here you have pretty much an idea how the color going to work, but we always recommend you to do a pre-test, like on a piece of paper or a strand test on a bit of an extension of, or even on your client's or model's hair. So the colors we used today was on the roots, we used lemon, all the colors straight from the tube, right? So on the roots, lemon, on the middles, nuclear, and on the ends, fireball are red. All right. So as you can see, all the colors are, as I said, like direct from the tube, and they're like very easily to blend to each other. And on the front bit, I just create like a mani piece with fireball or red, just to give a bit more of a contrast on the top. Let's imagine this is a balayage, and let's imagine the red is the blonde, and this is the darkest shades are pretty much like the yellow and the orange. So this is pretty much what you do with the balayage. A mani piece a bit lighter and the ends a bit lighter as well. On this case, it's the opposite. So I made it darker and darker on the ends. So on the way that we go through this live, I'm just going to do a bit of application. I'm going to show you how to use the Pulp Riot semis and how to create the perfect blend.
Cool. I love that idea of looking at it like a balayage, like just to make it, yeah, kind of not intimidating for people, right? People do balayage day in, day out, but they don't necessarily do creative color. So just having that mindset flip between, oh right, it's a reverse balayage, like, yeah.
That's it. Sometimes being creative is not as scary as people think it is. So it's everything about attitude, and everything is about how do you show that you're confident enough to create something a bit more creative to that client. There's clients, actually, I have some clients that they look way better with creative color than with a brown or a blonde, because you just bring it up their eye colors or the skin tone, or it goes better with their outfits and stuff.
Yeah, their
You're the one that just, as a hairdresser, the one that you can recommend them to that. So there's actually a good video on L'Oreal Access where James Masters is explaining how he introduces like the creative color to his clients, and there's like a step-by-step on L'Oreal Access, so you can access to it and you can see like his video. He's actually quite nice.
And what kind of 90s trends are you seeing? So you've mentioned the money piece already.
Oh, definitely the money piece. Definitely the warm tones, because I think in the 90s was very common to use like a very warm yellow. It was no toners by that time, wasn't it? So everyone was like with these very yellow highlights. So yellow, red, orange is definitely like a big trend that comes from the 90s. If you think about it, everyone was like with red hair, orange hair, yellow hair because there was no toner. Chunky highlights are coming back. So the big chunks of color are coming back as well. Also the hairstyles, like a bob with some ponytails or layers, and let's say the shag haircut is very trendy right now. And I would say like shag is like beginning of the 90s, end of 80s, beginning of the 90s, but still touching on the 90s. You still see like pictures of your family or even yourself when you're younger with like a little mullet. I had one. So yeah.
I love
when
that.
I was like 3 or something.
Oh, and you didn't bring that photo to show us today. Disappointing.
No, we're gonna skip that part.
Cool.
So yeah, let's start our application. So I'm just gonna start with our yellow all over the roots on this quadrant. And then we're gonna go through all the colors. So yeah, the Pulp Riot semis, they work that straight from the tube, all right? So you don't need to mix them with anything, but they're all intermixable between each other. So you can achieve pretty much the shade that you want. There are a total of 28 shades, and some of them are neon, so they glow on the UV light, what are my favorites. And yeah, they all enriched with quinoa. It's like a key ingredient just to make the hair more moisture with more shine. They also fade through to tone. That's one of the biggest thing of the colors. So any of the Pulp Riot semis, they stain the hair. So you're free to use like a purple or a blue, and your hair will come back to a blonde. So the color fade exactly through to tone. So if you apply a purple, like a violet, you will fade to a lilac and eventually to a blonde again.
And that clearly is a big way of selling in creative color to clients, because some of the barriers might be, oh, is it gonna, am I gonna have an odd fade out experience? Is it going to be high maintenance? But if it does fade to tone, that's such a selling point.
That was, yeah. And also there's like another trick. If you're touching that people are scared to use the colors. So Pulp Riot, they developed this product called Blank Canvas. And the Blank Canvas is a product designed to remove Pulp Riot semis. So imagine, you're blonde, Charlotte. If you decide to come to me to do this color for a festival, for a week, you can definitely do these colors. And then after you come back to me, and we're going to use Blank Canvas, and we can remove 100% of the colors.
Ooh.
That's incredible, no?
It is. I'll be calling you up.
But no, that's like pretty much a game changing. And the good part of comparing those days to the 90s is that all the products were created by that time for different techniques. And since then, we've been trying to achieve the colors. They were training like balayage, color melt, root shadow. Nothing of these we're talking about. No one was talking about that on the 90s or the 80s or when they created the colors. So right now, as an artist, we've all been like forced to create something with a product that were not designed for it. So this is the good part of it, because you can do whatever you want with your hair. Okay, there's always boundaries. There's always like limits. You need to apply your knowledge as a hairdresser all the time, of course. But now you have much more room to be creative, and that's very important. So yeah. Also, if you want to get a bit more inspiration, Pulp Riot is about to come up with this new event. It's called Powered. I mentioned that and then like before. It's like a digital event where you can sign up on, I think you can access to pulpriot.uk Instagram, and on their bio, they have like a link to access to it. So it's a free event, going to be like a group of the most incredible hairdressers, and I'm there, luckily. Woo! And we're just going to do a bit of a show, showing like everything about the colors. It can be creative, it can be naturals, it can be about the high-speed toners. I'm going to give you a sneak peek about the new collection of the Pulp Riot semis, the fantasy collection. So I'm super excited to be the first one touching on that colors in the country and show them to all of you. So yeah, if you want to see like a free digital event, just access to Powered by Pulp Riot.
Wow. And are you finding that it's just Gen Z clients that are wanting the 90s trends, or are you seeing it across the generations?
Across generations, especially because people, like the younger generation are getting more inspired by, for example, Euphoria, the series. So I think this came like as a big trend, and everyone is asking like this big contrast of colors, and they all come with these big makeups and full of shine and stuff. It's very fun to watch.
Yeah. I am only watching it for the beauty and the fashion. Like the storyline I find incredibly depressing.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? But I am here for the hair looks and the makeup looks. Yeah. They are amazing. Are there any 90s trends that you kind of cringe at and you're like, that is not coming back?
There's a few, to be honest with you. But I mean, there's some clothing, but the thing is, I hated at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, I hope this isn't going to be a trend. But right now, I kind of love it. I don't know why. Like these sunglasses, very small, and you know, the cargo trousers, like everything is like very oversized. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it grows. It grows on you, right?
That's it.
And then I imagine it's the same with color, like you were saying about how techniques have advanced, because you're kind of doing a throwback trend, but you're putting a 2022 spin on it. You can make it, you know, more modern, more fresh, tweak the kind of elements of the trend that you didn't like and turn it into something that you do like.
Absolutely. Even, okay, let me just show you quickly as I just color the first mesh of hair. As you can see, the consistency of the color is amazing. So it's like blend the colors with each other very easily. Also, a good thing about these colors, the Pulp Riot semis, is that after around 20 minutes they encapsulate. So that means you don't need to use any foils to separate them. So I'm going to use this. Even if I used a chunk of yellow, a chunk of orange, a chunk of red, I could sit them between on the top of each other, and the color will not bleed. You just need to be a bit more careful when you sit the color on the top of it, because it takes like around 15 to 20 minutes to encapsulate, especially the red, because we're very pigmented in orange. And as soon as you leave the color to sit between, normally you should leave the color to sit between 20 to 40 minutes, but I always leave the color for 40 minutes, because after you leave the color for 40 minutes, the color is 100% encapsulated. So even if you twist the colors, they don't bleed to each other, and then you have like the clear rings. So think about at the beginning in the 90s and every time until now, you always need an assistant to help you to rinse the colors and on the backwash. You always need someone to help you to all pieces of hair and stuff. And now you don't need it anymore, and that's amazing. Amazing for freelancer hairdressers. Like I'm a freelancer hairdresser, and I almost never use an assistant. The salon where I'm based, they have assistants, but I never use them because I'm pretty much easy to work, just me and my clients. And this helps a lot because I can do whatever I want, any colors, and I know I'm going to be able to remove them. I'm going to be able to wash them, and my client is going to be all over color on their face and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is like pretty much a nice technology that is like a game changing.
Yeah, that's kind of revolutionary.
Yeah. Right, so I'm going through with my application. And definitely, if you want to start with being creative, you should definitely actually get like some permanent, semi-permanent colors, like Pulp Riot semi-permanent colors. They're like these very neon shades, but also some pastel shades. So a way that I normally introduce creative color to my clients is definitely recommending them like what I think will suit them, like on the consultation. Consultation is the most important step of your client's visit, because it's during the consultation that you understand your client, the client understands you, and the client can trust you from there. So if your client is on the sitting area and you just go there and say like, oh, what do you want to do? You want to do a haircut? Okay, let's do the touch and poo. No, it's not on that way. So you need to sit your client, explain like 5 to 10 minutes or even more if you need it with your client, and see what is their expectation and pretty much what they want to do. So I always recommend a creative color to my clients almost all the times. I know that 90% will say no straight away after of the idea that I'm giving to them. But because I give like an idea so extreme that their brain is not shocked anymore. So slowly and slowly, we're going to get to a level where they're going to say like, okay, we can try that. Usually is we start when I recommend like a rose gold or a pastel panel or a toner a bit more intense, like a bit more pink, a bit more violet. So people, especially like blonde girls, is more tended to accept something a bit more different in the toner, like peach tone or just a little change. And from there, you can be more creative. So if you open my Instagram, it's Pedro_Plastic. You're going to see a lot of creative colors. Most of that is on clients. And there's a lot of them, they start coming to me for like regular highlights. There's one client, I used to do highlights with color because she was not even confident to bleach her hair. So we used to do like highlights with eye lift tint and with 10-1 or something like that. I don't remember, it was a few years ago. And now she's one of the most creative ones I have. Because slowly I start recommending them like you should try this, you should try that, I think will suit you. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so thankful that you recommend this to me because it just changed the way that I look to myself, you changed my confidence. And that's very cool to know and to hear from your clients. That means your job is being like well done. It's not just about doing good hair, it's just to do good emotions and everything to people that visit you, right?
And I'm sure it keeps it interesting for you as well to be taking your client on a journey and a creative journey as well. You don't want to be giving the same thing day in, day out.
Yeah.
You want to, for both sides, you want to elevate the experience, make it bespoke, make it different every time.
Sure.
So cool.
Okay. Let me go through my application. As you can see, is the consistency of the color is amazing. The viscosity is amazing to create like the perfect blends. So as you can see here, I can create pretty much like a blend already. As you can see, the roots are pretty much blended. So what I do this a lot. So I do a blonde toning, and then after I just apply like a different color on the roots. I just leave it like that, because as soon as you spread the color, you can get like the perfect blend. What is absolutely amazing.
You were talking about hidden panels as a way of kind of getting clients engaged in colour that might be a little less adventurous than some. Can you speak a little bit about
that? Yeah, so people, it's pretty much like introducing to people what they can do. So obviously, as we talked about before, having a product that removes the color completely helps a lot. So what James, for example, he recommends on L'Oreal Accents. What is amazing is that he offers like a color on his clients, like a bit of a color, like in the panel, and they don't need to pay for it. And then if they don't like it, you can remove it. So usually I talk about it. I do like, okay, we can try this. I can add this service on your toner, for example. So they pretty much don't pay for this panel of colors. So I do like a color blend. Usually a color blend is the best start because you see like different colors. You see like, oh my God, I feel like so creative as a client, all right?
Yeah.
I feel so creative with all these colors, but at the same time looks pretty, looks gentle, and doesn't look like too freak. Because every time I talk about creative color, people always think about punks and like emos and freaks, and there's like this big misconception on the society about creative color. So actually, talking about that, I have a client. She's a designer and is her boss. Is always very happy for her to do creative color on her hair because he believes that is their clients will trust more a creative person than a non-creative person to do their job. And that's true, because if you're creative, that means if you show that you are creative, that means you are 100% creative. Even if I think that your hair doesn't show your personality or anything, that you can be whatever you want when you want. I don't think being with a colored hair can make you like a less professional. But people still have this conception about, oh, color, about work is everything about, is all the time about work, and how clients and the bosses and whatever going to think about their big change. But as soon as you start with something small, and gradually you're going to get there. And especially because the 90s is so trendy right now, you can see that everywhere. It's quite easy for you to introduce it. So it's quite interesting. And definitely these colors that I'm using right now are the biggest trend. Definitely, like oranges, reds, yellows. I just came back from the fashion week in Portugal. I was there all week for the fashion shows, doing the hair backstage. And this is very much the colors that you see on most of the shows, like warm colors, oranges, reds.
Love it. I imagine the pandemic has kind of helped creative colour in many ways, because people have been working from home, they've not been going into a professional office, as it were. And kind of had that flexibility to switch up their hair a bit. As salons have opened again, they've kind of been like, well, might as well go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing, as you were saying, like to see the trajectory of your clients from a natural to a creative color.
Yeah.
Because it's just amazing to create something unique and to create something from scratch and everything, and to see like your clients are very happy about it.
And you're kind of creating it with them. It's like something you're both doing together, because
Yes, I always do that on that way. I always try to create something together with my clients. Yeah. So all the inspiration I'm taking is from art in general, like plastic artists and designers. Obviously, I get inspiration from other addresses, but every time I think about a color spectrum, I'm searching about like artists and designers and architects, and this is pretty much what I'm asking to my clients like all the time. If you think about color, just check about some designers and some artists and send me like some of their works. So just show me something that you like about it, because sometimes it's about how do you like the colors or not. It's not about pretty much you like someone's hair because that hair suits that person. That doesn't mean you're going to suit you. So, and obviously you want to have like something unique. You don't want to be a copy of someone else. So let's try to find like something a bit more creative to do on hair.
The way you're working now is truly like an artist. I feel like I'm in your studio and you're on canvas and you're painting away and blending.
And these colors are so easy to work with, and they also smell amazing. I wish everyone that is watching us, including you, could smell it.
Smell of vision.
Amazing. Okay, and then I'm almost done with my application.
Cool.
if you can do like just a quick recap about what I'm using. So on the roots, I'm using. Oh, also let me just show you the artwork because it's always amazing. So this is lemon on the roots, our lemon yellow, and then we have nuclear, our orange from the Neopop collection, and then on the ends we have fireball, our red. So yeah, and I'm blending all the colors between each other to create these reverse sunset balayage. Let's call it like that.
We've named it. We were going to do a quick round of hot or not 90s hairstyles. How are you feeling?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. So the Rachel, what are we feeling about the Rachel? Hot or not? And like color-wise, boring.
Yeah.
Not creative.
Like the hairstyles and everything could be interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. You always can do a twist.
Yeah.
You always can get inspiration from there and get like a twist on your own personal taste. Right?
Yeah, definitely. And we were chatting about Gwen Stefani was one.
Oh yeah.
Like
Gwen Stefani. That's one a good example of the yellow that I was talking about with no toner, because I remember to see a hair like so blonde, like this yellow that was like so trendy at the time, but I still love all the styles, like all the Arabs that she does, and the contrast between like black and blonde. Oh my god, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I think that's like, a good show.
Like the big root is very
yeah.
And Britney's Hit Me Baby One More Time, Heavy Fringe, Bunchies. How are we feeling about that?
Which one, sorry?
Britney Spears is Hit Me Baby One More Time, like Heavy Fringe, Bunches.
That was like very in color. That was not even color. She was not even blonde.
No.
Like, blonde by that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's very trendy now. Fringe, like all the bangs, like curtain bangs, and I think that's a big trend. Sorry, there's like some constructions of sense. I'm so sorry. We have like a good surprise. Yeah. Well, I think it's very, I love the contrast of like a heavy fringe when you do like a hair up and you have like a curtain bangs and everything. I really like that. I think it's like a big trend right now. Definitely, yes.
Ooh. So do you want to recap for everyone the look that you created today? There they go. That's our sign to bring it to an end, right?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. There's some guys doing some construction upstairs, and like there's nothing you can do about it. Let's focus on this. Let's focus on this. Right. So today we talk about the Pulp Riot semis and how to get creative with Pulp Riot semis, how to introduce a creative color to your clients, and there's like a few ways to do it. If you just join us, this video is going to be published on Charlotte.
It's going to be on Facebook and then Instagram and YouTube the following week. It will go
as many like different platforms that you can rewatch this.
Yeah.
I talk about a color application. We talk about the Pulp Riot semis, what is about to come with Pulp Riot, my journey with Pulp Riot, and also some tips and tricks about how to introduce creative color to your clients.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm so pleased.
My pleasure.
I'm so pleased that we got to do this.
I'm so happy.
Building work held off.
Yes, right on time.
Right
I'm so happy to be on this project. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pedro. Lovely.
Thank you, and I'll see you really soon.
And thank you to Pulp Riot for sponsoring this session. Bye. See you soon.
Bye. Thank you.